welcome back to your feel-good breakfast show. It's Expresso right here at ABC3. We're live, and thank you so much for hanging out with us this morning. Now, for the last few weeks, we've been spoiled with the best in tech from our friends at Dion Wired with our Pick a Box competition. Because, Katlaho, what time has it been?
I'm a piggy boys.
Yeah.
I'm piggy boys.
And of course, yeah, as of today, the last prize standing is the iPhone 11. The Xbox has been won. The Samsung Note 10 is gone. And it's now up to you to SMS in and claim the iPhone 11 all for yourself. And here to break it down as to why you want this phone and nothing else is our resident techie, Bryan Smith.
Good to have you, man.
Thank you very much.
Happy Monday, buddy.
To you as well.
If you were to ask anybody in the world, they'd be like, why wouldn't you want to have the iPhone 11? It was all the rage in tech news when it dropped. In fact, the whole world was anticipating. There were pre-orders going on. It was absolutely crazy. But what is the big thing about the iPhone 11 that everyone's raving about so much?
So there are really two, I think, really exciting technologies in the iPhone 11. And although the iPhone can sort of look similar each year, it's really the technology inside that counts. And I think Apple are potentially the best refiners and optimizers in the industry. So year on year, you get really great, well-working technology that just works time after time and lasts. And I think the two real standouts this year, of course, the cameras. Apple's really good now and not only making great camera hardware, but camera software. There are some really great features for photographers, whether you're shooting at night or day, or portraits or landscapes. And then again, there's the processors. So that Apple now actually makes its own processors in its own smartphone, so its own chipsets. And this year's iPhone supports the most powerful chipset ever included in a smartphone itself. So that's really exciting. It offers the latest power and technology, and it makes your experience using the phone just that much more fluid.
Yeah, wow. I'm glad you mentioned the camera right up front, because the biggest draw card, one of them about an iPhone, is the camera. People buy the iPhone mainly because of its camera.
Absolutely.
But we know that this camera hasn't got one, it's got two cameras as opposed to the iPhone 11. Is there a big difference in the camera quality?
So 2 is always better. Well, so the iPhone range this year is somewhat different. So that you have the iPhone 11, which is the unit we're reviewing today. You also have the iPhone 11 Pro.
Yes.
So the iPhone 11 has the 2 cameras. The iPhone 11 Pro has the 3. And although the iPhone 11 Pro has 1 more camera, you're actually not missing out on too much else. So the difference is that the iPhone 11 Pro has a telephoto camera for zooming in, getting close up to detail, whereas the iPhone 11 and the iPhone 11 Pro both have a wide and then an ultra-wide angle lens. So it means you're able to capture that just much more detail, whether you're shooting landscapes, architecture, or people.
Yeah.
But what's really cool is that despite the difference in hardware, both these phones have access to the very same software. So you're able to go out and shoot really interesting night shots. You have slow-mo selfies, which is a new one that Apple sort of introduced to the industry. And of course, you have that much greater color control. So essentially what the iPhone offers is kind of become, to many people, the benchmark for a great camera experience.
Absolutely, and man, the portrait mode, those photos are just absolutely genius. So second biggest draw card is the balance between battery life and memory. So how does the iPhone 11 score here?
So that's really interesting. So the iPhone essentially, compared to most smartphones on the market, actually has a smaller battery in hardware terms. But what this means is that Apple's worked harder to optimize software. So you have a smartphone that actually now lasts more than a day on the average iPhone, going into 2 days. This can obviously depend on your usage and sort of what media consumption you want to, if you're binging on YouTube, for example. In terms of other hardware, you have a great processor now that can slow its speeds or optimize its speeds, depending on what app you have or have open on the device itself.
Okay. Wow, okay. You need to sum it up for us. Why do we want this iPhone? What are the major selling points for this iPhone?
So I think year after year, Apple produced really great hardware. The iPhone is sort of now perhaps the most known smartphone, arguably, on the planet. And this is the smartphone you want, I think, if you want a really simple, intuitive, easy-to-use experience that has a great camera that's optimized just and personalized just for you. I think the cameras and the processors speak for itself, and this year's iPhone has really upped the game in that regard.
Yeah. Well, you heard it from the tech expert himself. And so to stand a chance of winning that iPhone 11, it's actually right there. It's on the table in front of us. All you got to do is SMS the keyword Dion Wired, followed by your name and then your email address to 33728, and we could be calling you live on Friday to pick a box and reveal your prize. Well, you pretty much know what that prize is.
This is your last chance. So, guys, you need to get your entries in. I'm a bigger box in. Plus, when you SMS in, you also stand the chance of winning that 30-second trolley dash worth a a whopping 100,000 South African rands in a Dion Wired. So remember that SMSs cost R1.50 and no free SMSs apply. And the competition will close when, Kat?
On the 23rd of October at 9 a.m. and T's and C's can be found on our website, expressoshow.com. Get entering and good luck.
Stream Fireplace.
Dion Wired, where humans go for technology.